anyam tu gopaye katham anyam tu gopaye sarvagrastaha This gross material body made of five elements is already under the control of eternal time Kala. Action, and the modes of material nature Guna. How then can it, being already in the jaws of the serpent, protect others. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The world's movements for freedom through political, economic, social, and cultural propaganda can do no benefit to anyone, for they are controlled by superior power. A conditioned living being is under the full control of material nature, represented by eternal time and activities under the dictation of different modes of nature. There are three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. Unless one is situated in the mode of goodness, one cannot see things as they are. The passionate and the ignorant cannot even see things as they are. Therefore, a person who is passionate and ignorant cannot direct his activities on the right path. Only the man in the quality of goodness can help to a certain extent. Most persons are passionate and ignorant, and therefore their plans and projects can hardly do any good to others. Above the modes of nature is eternal time, which is called Kala, because it changes the shape of everything in the material world. Even if we are able to do something temporarily beneficial, time will see that the good project is frustrated in course of time. The only thing possible to be done is to get rid of eternal time, Kala, which is compared to Kala Sarpa, or the cobra snake, whose bite is always lethal. No one can be saved from the bite of a cobra. The best remedy for getting out of the clutches of the cobra-like Kala, or its integrity, the modes of nature, is Bhakti Yoga, as it is recommended in the Bhagavad-gita 14.26. The highest perfectional project of philanthropic activities is to engage everyone in the act of preaching Bhakti Yoga all over the world, because that alone can save the people from the control of Maya, or the material nature represented by Kala, Karma and Guna as described above. The Bhagavad Gita confirms this definitely. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta. Om Jnanati Vedantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Vishaya Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Vivinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is a very wonderful verse spoken by Narada. He's saying, he's actually describing the situation of the living entity in this world. Deho, ayam deha, ayam panchabhautikaha deha. This body made of panchabhuta is kala karma gunadhino, adhina, to be under the control of. The body, meaning everyone who has a body, every person, is already under the control of time, kala, karma, past activities, and guna, the modes of material nature. Katham anyams tu gopaye. Gopayati means to protect. That's how the word Gopala also comes. One who protects the cows. Gopaye. Katham anyams tu gopaye. How can such a person who is already under the grip of kala, karma, guna, protect others? Katham. How is it possible? Anyams tu gopaye. Sarpakasto yatha. Just like somebody who is already under the jaw and in the jaws of a serpent, sarpakasta, and he is trying to help someone else. He is already in a precarious situation. He is saying, no, I'll help you, don't worry. And we are saying, oh, such a nice man, he is helping, he's going to help us. Sarpakasto yatha. This gross material body, made of 5 elements, is already under the control of eternal time, action, and the modes of material nature. How then can it, being already in the jaws of the serpent, sarpakastha, protect others? Anyam gopaye. Katham anyams tu gopaye. And a very nice word quoted by Srila Prabhupada. And we see how nicely Srimad Bhagavatam is preparing us to come to the highest level of surrender. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained the surrender to Krishna has 6 components. Sharanagati is the highest principle. Krishna also spoke about that in the very conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. So what is this surrender and how can one develop this attitude of surrender? This is such an important thing. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to help us develop that quality of surrender, that attitude of surrender, the psychology of surrender, he has helped us. To help us, he has given that there are, this Sharanagati includes 6 guidelines. So the 6 guidelines, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains is Anukulyasya Sankalpaha. You accept something or don't accept something. Generally, we accept something according to whether it is satisfying me, my satisfaction. So I am the center, and I keep myself as the center, and I make decisions around in my life on various things that I come across. okay, I accept. This is good. This is very pleasurable. This will be good for me. No, now change that to anukulyasya sankalpaha. If it is favorable to serve Krishna, if it is pleasing to Krishna, I accept. So we shift the center of our existence from ourselves to the Lord. Pratikulyasya varjanam. In the same way, you reject something in this world, in our lives, if it is not very pleasing to me. So that we change, pratikulyasya varjanam. If it is not pleasing to Krishna, if it is not pleasing to the spiritual master, I reject it. So these are the two important guidelines. So, in other words, in a conditioned state of life, I am the center, and in the Sharanagati mode, I am not the center. Krishna is the center. And how is that demonstrated? By how I accept or reject things. So it's not just a sentiment. Sharanagati is not just a sentiment. It is demonstrated in our choices in our life. How I respond to various choices that come before me. I accept or reject, not on the basis of my personal satisfaction, but on the basis of Guru and Krishna's satisfaction. That becomes the driving principle. See? This is so because our constitutional makeup is like that. We are meant to think like this. We are designed to think like this. Just like every organ in the body has to think of the whole body. The kidney is functioning. Some whatever those chemicals, biochemicals come. It will accept or reject the biochemical. Right? On the basis of seeing whether it's good for the whole body or not. These are toxins. No, accept it. And it will be rejected. If no, it is not toxin, it is a nutrient. Don't accept it. Let it be in the bloodstream. Let that go. Let the bloodstream carry it to the rest of the body because it's good for the body. Imagine the kidney reverses its thinking, its function. Toxins have come. Not good for me. Something can happen to me. Reject it. Let it go in the bloodstream and let it go all over the body. Nutrient has come. Let me absorb it and keep it in my kidney only, within the organ, so that I will become bigger and stronger. What will happen? Kidney failure ho gaya. The kidney is designed and is meant to function on this principle. Accept things which are favorable for the body, reject things which are unfavorable. Kidney is doing the function of accepting all the reject toxins and then excrete it, reject it from the body. That's how it is functioning. Every moment the kidney is functioning like that. That's why we are sitting here happily, comfortably today. If the kidney reverses its functioning, we'll be rushing in an ambulance. Not only the kidney, every single organ in this body is like that. The lungs, the heart, the brain, the pancreas, whatever you take, it is supposed to function like that. Because all of them are part and parcel of the whole body. In the same way, we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are meant to function like that. We are meant to think like that. This is congenial to our constitution. This thinking, this mode, this kind of an attitude is congenial to our own true nature. So, anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwasaha. Vishwasa means confidence, trust, faith. Vishwasa. Rakshishyati iti vishwasa. Lord will always protect me. This confidence is another component of Sharanagati. You cannot say, I surrender to the Lord, but then I can't be too sure the Lord will protect me. I have to make so many other arrangements. In case the Lord doesn't protect me, I have another thing to hold on to. Where is the Sharanagati here? Just like we hear that story of Draupadi, and she was being disrobed. In an Indian cultural values, how a woman being disrobed and dishonored like that is a most unacceptable thing. That's something that a woman has to always be protective about. And when she's being disrobed like that, and finally she called out, Krishna, please help me. I'm not able to. Nothing can save me now. Only you can save me. Rakshishyati iti vishwasa. And the next, that was the third principle. The fourth principle is Gotrutve Varanam Yatha. Same word Gotrutve is connected to this word Gopaye, Gopayati. Who is my maintainer? Who will maintain me? Who will take care of me? Varanam means you can choose many things in this world. Who will maintain me? But I accept Krishna is my only maintainer. Accepting Krishna as the only maintainer. Not go to any demigods. Not going to any devatas, not dependence on any devatas, but the Lord will protect me. Gotrutve Varanam Yatha. What's the next one? Atmaniksheva. To align our desire with the desire of the Lord. That's called Atmanikshe, Atmasamarpanam. Have no desire other than the desire of the Lord. And Karpanye. Karpanye means meek and humble. Prabhupada explains, meek and humble means to always feel helpless. To feel helpless like a small child, always depending on the father and mother. So feeling helpless and praying to Krishna, please protect me. Now, you just imagine these 6 principles that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has done. A sum total of these, if one can always remain in that mode, Sharanagati. Such a wonderful explanation Mahaprabhu has given to teach us Sharanagati. Such a wonderful lesson, how nicely Srila Prabhupada has explained these things. So, Bhagavatam is preparing us. Katamanyams to go by. Where you will go for protection. Another individual, another person. No, he's a very great man. No, he's such a great, not only men, even if you take devatas, even they are sarvagrasta. Even they call a karma guna adhino. Even they are not free from that. You see, everyone in this material is kala karma gunadhina. Kala is very powerful. Never know what will happen. When something can go wrong. Karma, we don't know which karma is going to fructify when. It's not in our control. And gunas, the three modes of material nature, constantly influencing us. This is our situation. So where is the hope? Sometimes we think that I am independent. No, we are not at all. Kala karma gunadhino sarpagrasta. The three gunas, their influence. Krishna explains that the three gunas are constantly competing with each other to influence us. That's the nature of material existence. The spiritual existence is very different. Spiritual existence, Brahma Samhita explains what is the spiritual existence. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Tabhivya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Niva Satya Kila Prabhuto Govindamani Purusham. What's the spiritual? There, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita. Prati, every second, every moment, bhavita, fully influencing. By what? Influenced by what? Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Pratibhavita. There also in the spiritual world also there is something constantly. Because that's our nature. Living entity means we are Ashrita Tattva. We are not Ashraya Tattva. Krishna is Ashraya Tattva. He is the one who gives Ashraya to everyone. Our Tattva, our truth is we are protected Tattva. Our nature is that we are always under the protection of something else. So, in the spiritual world, it is Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita. And so nicely Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur translates this. Permeated and vitalized by the ever blissful spiritual rasa. So wonderful, you see. A great translation. Such a nice language. Permeated and vitalized by the ever blissful spiritual rasa. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita. On the other hand, in the material world, there is no Ananda, Nirananda, Dukkhamaya. And not Chinmaya, it is Gunamaya. Pratibhavita is Dukkhamaya, Gunamaya, Dukkha, Gunamaya, Pratibhavita. That's our existence in this world. Permeated and devitalized by the ever miserable material rasa. That's what we are experiencing in the material world. All the different rasas, husband rasa, wife rasa, friend rasa, master rasa, lover rasa, children rasa. All of them. They look like it's very nice, but none of them can give us full satisfaction that the living entities are looking for. So this is how our situation is. Guna is gunadhina, karmadhina, kaladhina. See? When what will be done, what will happen? You never know. Some disease will come. Something can happen. So, when this is the situation, Katham anyams to go by. How can I depend on someone else who is himself under the clutches of Kala, Karma, Guna, that he will protect me? In other words, Nagata is explaining, don't depend on anything in this material world. No other person, no other plan made by another person who is under Kala Karma Gunadhina, no other arrangement made by a person who is Kala Karma Gunadhina. None of these things can protect us. Bhoktrutve Varanam Katha, bringing us to that point of understanding Krishna alone is my maintainer. I will accept him as my maintainer. I will go to him and not go to anyone else. Because Krishna makes certain proposals in the Bhagavad Gita which are very striking. Like for instance, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ejana Paryupasate. It's a very big demand Krishna is making. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Don't think of anything, only me. Just see. Don't think of anything else. No, my father and mother. No, don't think of them also. Really? No, my wife and children, husband. No, don't think of them. What is this going on? No, my money, my safety. Don't think of anything else. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. So this requires very high qualifications to come to that level. That level of dependence, understanding that yes, Krishna is everything. Of course, how to practice this in the material world, that's a different thing. The husband cannot say, I learned some very important thing from Bhagavad Gita, I don't care for you anymore. No, I want to look after you. No. Husband cannot say that. Wife cannot say that, I don't care for you. Only Krishna I am thinking. Don't ask me food or those things. I was thinking of Krishna all day. No. That's a different thing. We have to do our duty in the material world. According to our situation, we have different duties. A brahmachari has a certain duty. Grihastha has certain duties. According to those, dutifully we have to do those activities. Still, thinking should be of Krishna. Thinking that is no compromise. You should still be thinking of Krishna, but you should be doing your duties. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the idea, the example of a paramour, of a woman, married woman, who had a lover outside the marriage. And she had husband, children, house to look after, but she was in love with another man. When such a relationship exists, that lover, the fondness, the affection for that lover outside the marriage will be stronger than within the marriage. That's the nature of this relationship. And she doesn't want her husband and children, anybody to know about this, her love affair. So she does all the different things in the house very meticulously, nicely, properly. When the husband comes home, food is ready. She can't give the excuse, oh, food is not ready because I was thinking of my lover all day. No. She will ensure the food is ready, and while she's cooking, doing all those things, she's only thinking of her lover, not anyone else. Such a wonderful analogy is the example Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. You can do that, and at the same time you have your obligations in the material world. You don't have to compromise that. You can maintain that. So to bring us to that level of complete surrender, because only when you surrender completely, then Krishna will give you further inspiration and direction of what is spiritual advancement. Just like, say, for instance, a father has got 3 sons. One son is a foolish son, Another is a rebellious son. The third is an obedient son. And he has developed his business last 40 years in his life. And now he wants to hand over the business to his children. Now he's thinking, who shall I share all the information about the business, all the insights I have developed? The fool cannot understand anything. This fellow, another one, so disobedient. I tell him, come, there's a meeting, he'll not come. There's a big party coming, customer coming, be ready. He's gone away to his watch and say, oh, what kind of a son he is. Whereas the other son, he's already ready. Oh, Father, what else shall I bring? What else, what other preparation we should do for the meeting? See how he is. So, we share very confidential things with somebody whom we can trust, who is very dear to us. Only with such people we share that information. Something that's very confidential. Otherwise we won't share. Right? That's the nature of this world. Somebody whom we can trust, whom we have a good relationship. Only such persons we share very confidential things which is very confidential in our life. Just like some example I've given in the past. Somebody knocks on the door, you open the door, and there's a stranger, and then he asks you, all your money savings you have done, where have you kept your money savings? What will you do? Bang, slam the door. Who's this guy coming and asking me where I kept all the money? Which room, which cupboard have you kept? I heard you have a number lock there. What is the number of that lock where you have kept all your savings? Bang, your place. What kind of a man he is? And then you come and sit inside, and your mother comes. And your mother asks you, Beta, I hope you have saved some money in your life. Hope it's all safe. Have you kept it safely? Where have you kept? How much have you kept? No, mommy, come sit down and we share everything with the mother. It's all there, don't worry, I've done this investment, 5 lakh rupees, always there in the cupboard. You see that number lock is there, no? Anytime you can go and see it is all there. Number is 1080. Mother of God. Most confidential thing also I can share, because my mother, she'll never let me down. Isn't it? Now just see the words that Krishna is using. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha shrunne paramam vachaha ishtosi me dhrudamiti. Because you are very dear to me, I'm telling you this most confidential. That's why the Bhagavad Gita is the highest knowledge. It's not a small thing. If we accept there is an absolute truth, if we accept that the absolute truth is a person, and if the absolute truth is a person, and then there are personal dynamics that are involved, and then that person who has something very confidential, he will share with somebody who is very dear to him, not with anybody and everybody. And that something very confidential, Krishna has shared with his greatest devotee, who is very dear to him. Because he is very dear to me, I'm sharing this. That is why those instructions, manmana bhavamat bhakto madhyajima namaskuru, it's in other words means love me. Manmana, you can't think of somebody always unless you love the person. When you love somebody, naturally you will be thinking of that person. Otherwise it's not possible. You think of someone always, Manmana means fill your mind with me. How can we fill somebody in our mind? Only when we love that person. When a boy is in love with a girl, or a girl is in love with a boy, always thinking of his lover. A lover does not have to say, at least once a day, please think of me, no? If you really love me, once a day at least you think of me. No. If he really loves her, always he's thinking of her. That's the meaning of love. Love is so powerful. That's called pratibhavitami. Every moment engrossed in. That's the sense of the word pratibhavitami. In the material world, we try all these different material rasas, which none of them will actually satisfy us. So in the material world, constantly we are trying different rasas, hoping that it will bring me happiness. So, to love Krishna, this is the highest message. And that love begins with Sharanagati. And then Sharanagati becomes more and more intense and sweeter when love develops. And this is the great message that Krishna said that he is sharing. And this is the highest instruction. This is the most confidential thing in the entire Vedic wisdom. Earlier in the 15th chapter, Krishna said, Vedascha sarvaya ahameva vedyaha. From all Vedic knowledge, I am to be known. Nothing else. What are the Vedas all about? They are all pointing towards Krishna. Sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. Indirectly because somebody is not ready to accept this principle of Sharanagati. Sharanagati requires aligning our desire with the Lord's desire. Sometimes the living entity, or most of the time the living entity, is not ready for that. He has his own desires. And he is very passionate about his desires. He wants to pursue his desires. He does not even want to think of God's desire. If at all I think of God, I want God and God's blessing so that I can fulfill my desire. This is the nature of a conditioned soul. So to encourage that living entity who has a lot of desires, but at the same time he has some sense of respect for God, the Vedic literature say, alright, you worship this Devata who has got the powers given by that God, Supreme God, you worship him, your desire will be fulfilled. And so, okay, I will worship this Devata, and when I worship the Devata, I am accepting that Devata is more powerful than me, and I need the Devata's blessing. It is actually, where is the Devata getting the power from? From Krishna. So it's a direct recognition of Krishna. So one day, when I am more prepared, I can learn higher things and understand who is Krishna. Right now, Krishna has made this arrangement. There are different devatas who can fulfill the different desires of the material of the living entities. Krishna says that in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, the Lord created the living entities and the system of yoga, and devatas and the system of yajna. And he said, go forth, you satisfy the devatas, you will get your requirements, and you can lead a happy life. So this is also Vedic instruction in pointing towards devata, because the living entities are so driven by their material desires. They're not ready to give up the material desires, understand what is Krishna's desire, and adopt Krishna's desire as shall be mine, that's Sharanagati, that's far away. So for them, alright, let them worship at least devata, they are recognizing indirectly Krishna. So, like this, in the Vedic literatures, all Vedic literatures are meant to understand Krishna. Sometimes the instructions are direct, sometimes the instructions are indirect, depending on the individuals. To give instruction to somebody, you need to have a good relationship, otherwise you cannot give instruction. Krishna had Arjuna, who was very dear to him, so he could freely give the instruction to him. If someone is not having a relationship, you cannot give. Just like there is an example, the daughter-in-law has come home, like in our Indian system, after the son is married, the daughter-in-law comes into the house of her in-laws, the husband's father and mother. So the daughter-in-law has grown up in one way in her father's parents' house. Now she has come into this family. The mother-in-law is watching. Sometimes we all have, this should be kept here, this should be kept there, this should be turned this way. All have some. So this mother-in-law also has those specific ideas. This should be kept here. And this daughter-in-law doesn't know. She keeps it all in a different way. Mother-in-law gets upset. And then how to tell this to the daughter-in-law? She's after all new. Then she will call out her daughter. She will call out her daughter and say, hey, you have kept all these things. This is not the way to keep it this way. Actually, she was not the daughter who kept it. But she has a relation with the daughter, so she can tell the daughter, and the daughter-in-law is hearing, oh, mother-in-law wants like this. Okay, next time. Right? Of course, this is an example of a very sensitive mother-in-law and a very equally sensitive daughter-in-law. Not always mothers-in-laws are sensitive and daughters-in-laws are so sensitive. Anyway, at least as an example, we understand. So, if you have to give instruction, you need to have a relationship. Dhrunamishtaha, very dear. Arjuna was very dear to Krishna, so he can deliver the highest instruction to him, highest advice to him, because he's ready to accept. That is why Arjuna's state of mind, willingness to accept Krishna, what Krishna is saying, is a right state of mind for receiving the Bhagavad Gita. That's why Prabhupada says, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching Arjuna. Krishna is the perfect example of a teacher, and Arjuna is the perfect example of a student. When both are there, it's a perfect combination of transmission of knowledge. If the spiritual master is very qualified and the disciple is a dunce, what can be done? Spiritual master has all the knowledge, he can give the highest knowledge. The fool, the disciple is a fool. What can we understand? If the disciple is very sincere, very humble, very surrendered, but unfortunately has gone to one foolish guru, and he's following whatever he says, he's a fool. Then what will happen to the disciple? That's also not a good combination. So, the perfect guru and a perfect disciple, that becomes a wonderful combination for transmission of knowledge. So that kind of a situation came about on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Krishna could deliver the highest knowledge. And that is why the Bhagavad Gita is so special. Prabhupada had immense confidence in the Bhagavad Gita and the words of the Bhagavad Gita. There was once a devotee about to leave Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, please don't leave. There is no philosophy in the whole world like that can compare Bhagavad Gita. You cannot find a philosophy as great as Bhagavad Gita philosophy. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't leave Krishna consciousness. Like that, Prabhupada would plead. That was the confidence Prabhupada had. Every word, every shloka, every verse of the Gita is like that. But unfortunately, people misunderstand. misunderstand that, misinterpret that. You have to take the whole Bhagavad Gita. That's why Prabhupada also said that we should take the entire spirit. What is the spirit of the Gita? They don't take these things, they don't understand. It's very rare somebody to understand all aspects, correctly the meaning and the spirit and the true intent of the Lord. All of these aspects to understand properly, that is what is delivered in the Bhagavatam. So, here, Prabhupada is writing in the purport, so many words, movements are there. So many big movements are there in the world. The communist movement, the capitalist movement, the compassionate capitalist movement, the democratic movement, the welfare movement, so many movements are there. All of them created by human beings who are kala karma gunadhina. And hence, all their ideologies, all their different philosophies, movements, fall short of delivering the highest thing to the living entities. Only a person who is free from kala karma guna adhina, who is not under these, only such a person can devise the welfare plan for the living entities. A pure devotee spiritual master is like that. He is not under kala, he is not under karma, he is not under guna, he is transcendental. And Krishna explains in the 13th chapter, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the 13th chapter is about 3 modes of material nature. He begins by telling Arjuna, now I will give you this knowledge by which sadharmyam agataha. You will attain sadharma, my nature. What is my dharma? What is my nature? You will attain that nature. Very nicely. That's a very early part of the 13th chapter. Krishna says, 14th. Okay. Idam gnana upashritya mama sadharmyam agata. Second verse. First verse is again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection. Param bhuya pravakshyami gnanana gnanamuttamam. Gnanana gnanamuttamam. Of all jnanas, this is the uttama jnana. Yajnatva munaya sarve param siddhim ito gata. That I will explain to you. Idam gnanam upashritya. When you are situated in this knowledge, see the words Krishna is saying, gnanam upashritya. You should be under the influence of this knowledge. You should be situated in this knowledge. That's why Prabhupada used these expressions in English. When we come to the platform of knowledge, when you come to this situation of knowledge, Srila Prabhupada used these kind of expressions in English to convey this sense in Sanskrit. Idam gnanam upashritya mama sadharmyam agata sargepi nopajayante pralayena yathanti cha. If you acquire this knowledge, whether during creation or during pralaya, you will never be destroyed, you will never be vanquished. Thus is that by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution. So, what is that knowledge? About the 3 modes of material nature, Krishna is describing. And then Arjuna asked the question, okay, Krishna, you are saying all living entities are under the 3 modes of material nature. And then Krishna uses one word which actually triggers Arjuna's question. Gunanat etan aditya trim dehi dehasamudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amrutamashnude. You see, otherwise we are gunadhina, under the modes of material nature. Krishna brought one concept. Gunanetan aditya trim. Adityaha means to go beyond. Oh, you can be beyond the three modes of material nature. Dehi, deha, samudbhavan. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, deha, samudbhavaha, dehi, etan, guna, aditya, three guna, adityaha. What happens? What is the benefit if you transcend the three modes of material nature? Something very important Krishna is promising. Janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amrutamashnude. Janma mrityu jara. All these are problems in life. Old age, death, rebirth, dukkha. All the miseries that come because of this vimukta. You will be freed from amrutamashnude and you will enjoy eternality, immortality. So immediately Arjuna asked, Kailingkai stri gunanati etan atito bhavati prabho. What are the symptoms by which we can understand somebody has transcended the three modes of material nature? Kimacharaha. What is his behavior? Katam chaitam stri gunana ativartate. And how can one transcend? Three questions Arjuna has asked. What are the symptoms? What is his behavior? And how to do it? On how to do it, Arjuna, Krishna first answers in the 4 verses, the first two questions. On the third question, which is a very important question, how to transcend Aditya Trim, Guna Aditya Trim, Krishna answers, Mam Jayo Avyavicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Saguna Samaditya Idan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. See, Krishna is saying you can attain transcendence by Bhakti Yogena, by rendering devotional service unto Him. Mam Chayo Avyavicharena, unbroken Avyavicharena, Bhakti Yogena, Sevate, by doing service. How Srila Prabhupada is so careful translating Bhakti as devotional service. Bhakti Yogena Sevate. So very meticulously Srila Prabhupada has preserved and delivered this wonderful message of the Vedic literature. It's not a small thing. Where is the scholar? Where is somebody who has read Bhagavad Gita who can explain and understand like Srila Prabhupada has done? Nowhere. Nobody has studied, nor has anybody practiced, and no one is in that stage of realization of that knowledge. So, a pure devotee who has actually done this, his plan is something that we can depend on because he is Kala Karma Guna, he is not under the influence of the good Kala Karma Guna. There are only the Supreme Lord and His pure devotees who are out of these things. Everyone else is under the modes of material nature, Kala Karma Guna Adina. That's why we have to become interested in the plan given by Krishna or plan given by His pure devotee, His Guna Aditya 3. And the plan and the program given by the pure devotee, which will develop bhakti in the heart of the living entity, that is called technically Bhakti Lata Bija. The plan and the program, the methods and the procedures designed by a pure devotee, that is called Bhakti Lata Bija technically. But Bhakti Lata Bija means the seed by which Bhakti will grow. Bija means a seed, right? From the seed a creeper will grow. Bhakti Lata will grow. So that seed is a program, is a process, is a method, is a regulation that a spiritual master gives, seeing the circumstances in the society, seeing the situation in this world. The spiritual master designs that and gives that. That is called a Bhakti Lata Bija. If you are fortunate, you will get that. If you are not so fortunate, you will meet somebody and he will give you a business Bija. He will give you method, process, plan, policies by which you can have a lot of money, a good business plan. That's called business plan, it's called business Bija. Or if you are not so fortunate, land with somebody else, they will give you a politics Bija. The plan, the strategy, the process, all the different things that you have to do by which you can win an election. Like this, in the material world, the living entity comes across various Bijas as he is traveling in the universe. Sometimes we will get politics Bija, sometimes we will get family Bija, sometimes we will get philanthropy Bija, some different Bija, science Bija, technology Bija. Various Bijas will be picking up and working on that, and the creeper will be growing. But all of them are Kala, Karma, Guna, Adhino, Sarva, Grasta. Everything finally, Kala will come down and everything will become null and void. But that is why Brahmanda Pramite, Kunu Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasadi, if one is fortunate, one will get the Bhakti. That is why it is so important. Katham Anyams to go by. Who can protect? Who is somebody under Kala Karma Guna Dina? Another example given in the Bhagavatam is to help us develop complete dependence on the Lord. Lord is the protector. Another example that's given in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada used this many times, is hoping to cross the ocean by holding on to the tail of a dog. Dog is a good swimmer. You can put a dog in a swimming pool, the dog learns. Naturally, the dog will swim. You can put the dog in an ocean, it will start swimming. But if you think, I will hold the tail of the dog, and that will cross over. From India, I will go to Africa. I just have to have a good dog. And the dog can swim, I have seen it very well. And then I hold on to the tail of the dog, dog will cross, and I will be saved and I will cross the ocean. It's a foolishness. In the same way, all these plans made by these different individuals who are Kala, Karma, Guna, Dino, they are already Sarvagrastha. How can they go by? How can they protect others? Anyams to go by. Katham anyams to go by. So, this is how Narada is bringing all these wonderful principles, building up to develop our surrender to Krishna. We'll stop here. If anyone has any questions.
Prabhu, knowledge given by Vyasadeva or Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is apaurushaya. It's not by a person who is influenced by Kala, Karma and Guna. So how can we explain this to others that this knowledge is apaurushaya?
No, there has to be some basic faith to explain this. If there is no Adho Shraddha, basic faith, it's very difficult. But we can tell somebody, you see, this is a very reasonable faith. It's not an unreasonable ask. Because in the material world, you have to do anything, you need some amount of faith. You cannot function without faith. So, faith is not actually opposed to knowledge. Faith is an element of knowledge, a feature of knowledge. Wrongly people think that faith is opposed to knowledge. Ours is a knowledge system and this is a faith system. No, that's not true. Because even in the knowledge system of the empirical people, for them to process that knowledge, they have to use their mind, they have to use their senses, they have to use their intelligence, they have to use logic, and they must have faith that my intelligence and my logic, individually or collectively, can deliver me credible, reliable knowledge. That's a faith. So you cannot avoid faith. Now in the Vedic perspective, we recognize that mind, intelligence, senses, all of these things are limited. So we know that since it is limited, it can only give me limited knowledge. So if I have to get something that is beyond this, like a few days back, sometime back, just a few days back, I was telling them about soul, all that. So he said, he made a very graphic, in a very graphical way, he asked the question. You see, when I go and stand in front of a mirror, I can see my body. I can't see the soul. How do I know the soul exists? Like something like that he made, and everyone was clapping. See, such a nice question he asked. Sometimes people do this kind of things. So I told him, okay, Mr. Gentleman, you go and stand in front of your mirror. Can you see your mind and intelligence? You can't see. So can we conclude that you have no mind and intelligence? You can't see mind and intelligence. That's why Sri Chanchalapathi explains, mind and intelligence are subtle things. You cannot see it, but you can perceive its presence by its effects. Very reasonable thing, isn't it? Mind generates thoughts, emotions. Suppose I see you getting very angry. Oh, I can understand. Oh, he's got a mind which is getting angry. Suppose you're feeling very happy and I can see those visible things. Then, oh, he's got a mind, he's happy. Now, we don't see that about this table. Someday you come and you see the table very angry. You don't see that. Oh, today table is very happy. But we don't say such things. Because table has no mind. So it cannot express. There's no manifestation of emotions. In the same way, if I give you a complex problem, you will think for a second and you will give an answer that shows your intelligence. Or I'll give you a problem, you'll be thinking, nothing is coming. Then also I can make out your own intelligence. Right? You can make out. By its effects you can make out. There is intelligence or there is no intelligence. So in the same way, some things you may not be able to see by simply standing in front of a mirror. I have to give you one question and then I will see whether you solve that, answer that or not. Then I can conclude you have brain or you don't have intelligence or you don't have intelligence. So by its effects we can decide. We have to understand its presence. Just like there are radio waves in this room, you cannot see. But its effect on the mobile, then we know, oh yes, signals are there. So by some things you may not see, but by its effects you can see. In fact, nobody has seen an electron, even in science. They have only seen the effects of electron. When an electron passes through a cloud chamber, it ionizes the cloud. It knocks off a few electrons from those gas, and then those ionized gas becomes the seed on which condensation happens and it leaves a track, and that's called what is it called? Smoke track or something. Whatever that's called, experimental, I forgot. Physics. So it leaves a track, and from seeing the track, we conclude an electron was there. Or you put a magnetic field and you see how the electron is moving in this direction or that direction, depending on the magnetic field, then you conclude that yes, electron is present. Or it was a neutron, it is not moving at all in this direction or that direction because it's not affected by any electromagnetic field. So by that you conclude what it is. So no one has seen an electron, they have only seen effects of the electron. And they have built a whole technology on the basis of that. In the same way, we may not be able to see the soul, but we can see the effects of the soul. Consciousness, our own awareness. Actually what happens is, this consciousness, the emotions, and the intelligence, discrimination, all of these are actually compacted cognitive functions that functions very unique in an undivided manner, including the body. Right? How is our existence? We don't think in terms of now my tongue is feeling the chemical reactions of sweetness and the sugar. You don't feel any of those things. You eat some rasgulla, the tongue, the mind, everything is working harmoniously in a bundled manner to give us a certain kind of an experience in this world and manifest our personality. Right? Now, Krishna is helping us to unpack this bundle and make us understand this is the Panchabhuta, Bhumira, Donolo, Vayu, Kammano, Buddhi, Revaja, Ahankara, Mitiyame, Bhinna, Prakrutirashvara, Aparenitastvanya, Prakrutim Vidhene, Param, Jiva, Bhuta, Mahava. These are all going on. Now we have to break up, open up, and understand what is what. This is what Krishna is doing, helping us understand there is a mind, there is an intelligence, there is a false ego, and there is a conscious particle, the living entity. Otherwise, all of them are bundled up together. Almost indivisibly, they are together and they are functioning harmoniously. Just like a clock, so many things inside. See, finally the time. But then when you break it up, then you will see there is a gear wheel, this is our gear, this is second gear, this is the spring which is actually having this is the battery. So many things you can break it up and understand how this is working. That's called Sankhya. To break up things into its component parts and analyze. That's called Sankhya.
Guruji, Prabhuji, when you say we surrender to God,
Yeah.
you are in the commune, like we are grust, we have to plan this, some marriages coming in the family and this thing, and we have to save little money, what will happen. What about that insecurity?
No, we can do all those things, but we should know, dutifully we should do all those things, but we should know, ultimately, Krishna is the protector.
Okay.
We must know that we have to do all these things.
So you need money for that.
Right.
Like
So
I surrendered now next day something with the God, we have either I am not that religious, what you can say, that I am insecure at times. What will happen when they come, I need this money? What will happen after a few days if I get sick? Those things.
that's why we should understand whether surrender doesn't imply inaction. Does that imply unthinking, unintelligent behavior?
Yeah.
We don't see that in Arjuna.
Yeah.
Krishna, after he told him to surrender, Arjuna did not say, okay, Krishna, surrender, now I will go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll be surrendering here.
Yeah.
You take care of the battle.
That's what I want.
No. Arjuna took the arrow, bow, and then he started fighting, he started thinking, he started strategizing. Enemy can come here, come there. All that he was doing, depending on the Lord, thinking of the Lord, praying for the Lord's mercy, to fulfill the Lord's mission. See, that is the way to surrender. Surrender does not mean we don't think, we don't plan. We can do all those things dutifully, very meticulously. Duty we have to do, but we know ultimately for all these things to succeed, Krishna's blessing is required. If that is not there, let me do my duty and depend on the Lord for His blessing. This consciousness will prevail.
Prabhu, in Sankhya Yoga we divide earth, water, air, fire, ether. These are the separate ingredients. Now one student asked me, atom was considered to be the basic building block of any element, and atom, molecules, elements, these form the periodic table. Now we are saying the whole material world is composed of these 5 elements. Where does atom fit into in these elements, or photon fit into these elements?
Okay. You see, these are different ways of classifying things and analyzing things. We are not saying we classify it as Panchabhuta, and so atom, molecule, these are all wrong. We are not saying that. That is one way of doing things. This is another way of doing things. Just like we analyze from Vedic literatures, the body is made of Panchabhuta. Modern anatomy analyzes there is an element, blood circulation system, there is a skeletal system, there is a neuro system. It's another way of analyzing. So different methods of analysis exist in this world, and we can always, there is nothing wrong in it. But in the Vedic literature, the analysis is from the perspective of identifying the prime mover of this body. What is moving this body? That's the intent to find out. So you analyze this body in a certain way. Like, I don't know if you've heard this, I've given this example. Suppose there is a fair going on. Right? Big fair, so many stalls are there, so many food is there, some dance is going on, some music is going on, something is going on, all kinds of a big fair is there. Now, a man goes, and then depending on his purpose, he will analyze the fair in different ways. Suppose he is going there and he has a plan to bring his family next week. He's looking, oh, this my wife will like. This one my children will like. This one my mother always used to like. This she will like. He will analyze this way. He'll go home and tell, next week we will go. That fair, very nice. All these things are there. Suppose imagine he is a tax collector. He has gone to the fair. He's looking at it in a different way. Hey, this one entertainment tax. Here food tax. Here some other tax. See, how he will look at the fair and analyze the fair. He'll come back and write a report. I've been to this fair and these are all the things, these are the taxes that we have to collect. From a taxation angle, he'll be analyzing. Suppose a thief goes there. He will also do an analysis. Oh, this one, people are all busy, engrossed in this very thick crowd. People are all engrossed there. That's the best place I should be. So he'll be analyzing also. So analysis, many varieties of analysis is possible. What is the intent of the analysis is important. In the Vedic literature, the intent is to find out what is actually moving this body. It is a soul. Okay, if you say the soul is moving the body, what is moving the soul? Finally, what is the ultimate cause? Which is Krishna, trying to understand that. In science, the analysis of the body is, if the kidney breaks down, how I set it right and make it run again? If the heart breaks down, what is that I should do? Again set it right and make it run again. That's the purpose of science. So different intents result in different kinds of analysis. So science is analyzing as atoms and all those kind of things. We are Vedic literatures analyzed as Panchabhuta. These are basic material energies. Now if you want to break it down, what is earth made of? Yeah, no doubt. It's made of all those sulfur, oxides, calcium, those kind of things are there. And you can break it down further into electron, proton. Further you break it down, many other elementary particles. All that is possible. No doubt. In science, they want to break it down because they want to control matter. control matter and energy so that we can improve our life better. So this is the kind of thinking that exists. The spirit of science and the spirit of Sankhya is different. The spirit of Sankhya, theistic Sankhya, is to understand Krishna. The spirit of science is to exploit material nature for our own benefit more and more. It's up here. That Srimad Bhagavatam teaches.